The Labour leader Keir Starmer blocks GB News and the majority of Westminster journalists from press conference, and Labour MPs come out in defence of their dear leader's rule breaking. Similar situation we're having now, with the Labour Party, just like Joe Biden in America, just like Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, and our favourite, Justin Trudeau in Canada. Because if you're not a friendly journalist, then free press and accountability, scrutiny, doesn't really matter. Now, no matter what you think of GB News, whether you love or hate GB News, it's a credible and official media outlet through Ofcom, and they've also gone through the Press Association to get their credentials, whether it's Darren McCaffrey as the political editor or Tom Harwood as the political correspondent. They have access to Westminster and to journalists and to press conferences. Wow. Yesterday when Keir Starmer and the Labour Party held their press conference so that Starmer could come out and say, well, I will resign if the police give me a fine, knowing exactly what he was doing, they decided to not really invite everybody. So Tom Harwood, the correspondent of the GB News, went to Labour HQ where the conference was being held, and he said, I'm at Labour HQ where my colleagues in the Westminster lobby are attending Sir Keir's press conference. Strangely, the party has said that I can't go in. So, which is a little eyebrow raising. So this was a situation where they said, well, we don't really have enough space, and we don't really want journalists and reporters who are not really friendly. Again, that's implied. Of course, that was just implied. The weird thing is, this was the image from the press conference. Selected group of their favourite, especially Beth Rigby of Sky News. She was there. And when he started the actual Q&A, he even said accidentally, so we've already agreed, you go first, you go second, you go third. Only 3 of them, friendly, and so you could actually avoid proper scrutiny. This is just a plant, because it's sort of like a scripted, polished Westminster hack job. It's weird. This is not really in the interest of the public. You know, people watch the press conference. If anybody in the country watched that press conference and they thought, wow, this is quite interesting. You know, he's showing leadership, Starmer, integrity. Anyway, speaking of integrity, we're going to show you exactly the problem that we have with the rest of the Labour Party, because Harry Cole came out and said it's a bad look for Labour after running away from Westminster lobby all day to have that weird press conference with only 3 journalists. Alistair Campbell, the king of PR, came out and said to spin it as usual. Such a bad look, eh, Harry? So much better if he had told you and your fellow right-wing racksters that every word you wrote was a gospel truth. Okay. But that would make him a liar, like your old rival in love. Of course, the reference is Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and said, now get back to your spewing wherever propaganda you're told to. It's really weird. He's again, a spin doctor. You know, he was a king of PR during the Blair years. He's completely lost his mind. Absolutely lost his mind. Now, speaking of those who are trying to create this scenario of everything's polished and everything's scripted, Labour MPs who decided to copy and paste the same message because they were told by the whips and by Labour HQ, just like we had the same situation with the Tories a few weeks ago. It's weird. Look at this. We're streeting. This is what integrity looks like. Again, responding to the press conference, quote retweeting that video. Another one, Nick Thomas Simmons of the Labour Party saying integrity. It's a bit like lazy, but it said the contrast with Boris Johnson couldn't be greater. We even had Bridget Phillipson saying Keir Starmer is a man of integrity and honesty. The contrast with Boris Johnson is striking. And then we also had Jim, but again, at least. It's a different quote retweet. It's not BBC, Sky News. So there's trying to be original, Jim. Well done. Saying Keir believes in public service, decency, and integrity. Yes, drink every time you hear the words integrity or contrast. So this is why people hate politics and politicians. We're sick and tired of this robotic, scripted mentality that's been promoted by the Westminster bubble. It's really bad. It's very unhealthy with democracy and accountability, and people need to know the truth. That's why we made this video. So subscribe to the channel. We're going to come back with more news updates for you guys. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.